going?
We are, but I was.
As you probably know, after working out a couple times with me. So it's true. It's so funny because like that's what's so amazing about this business, but also equally frustrating. Those are the ones that I feel like I grow the most from.
Yeah.
Because if I can capture an audience that is not there to listen to me, imagine what I could do.
Hello and welcome back to Redirected. I'm your host, Andrew East, and this is a show where we sit down with celebrities, athletes, entrepreneurs, really anybody who has gone through a significant pivot in life. I call these pivots redirections, and the goal is to help you and me with the unexpected events that we encounter in life because we all go through them at one time or another. Today, we sit down and talk with country music star Kylie Frey, who has an amazingly bright future ahead of her. I can't wait to see what's next for her. And if you want to find out more about her and her music, you can find out in the show notes down below. There's a couple links. And Kylie talks to us about how she pivots from being a rodeo gal in southern Louisiana to ultimately pursuing her dream and passion of music. This was a really fun interview, and I enjoyed my time with Kylie, and she has some wonderful words of wisdom and things to share with us. Before we get started, I would be very grateful and appreciative if you could subscribe to this show on whatever platform you're listening to, and also give it a 5-star rating. It really helps the show out, and I just love to see what you guys have to say when you leave a little note and comment in the review. So let's just go ahead and jump into this one with Kylie Frey. Welcome back to Nashville.
Thank you.
Big weekend.
Thank you.
Tell us about it.
Really great weekend. I got to play 2 big festivals, Country Boom and Windy City Smokeout. And so Windy City Smokeout is one of the biggest country music festivals. And so it's really cool that I get to be a part of it and go to Wisconsin and Chicago and experience the whole thing. And so
Windy City Smokeout was the one in Chicago. Though, right?
Yes.
Right. I figured. Yeah. You were also, this is one of the first times we hung out at Stagecoach.
Yes.
Is that not one of the biggest country music festivals?
It is, yes. So Windy City is not as big as Stagecoach.
Gotcha.
So Stagecoach is just massive and is like the Coachella of country, you know. And so Windy City Smokeout would be just right under that, which is, for someone in my position, is just really amazing, and it's just always a treat for me to be a part of, you know. So
can you rank what are like the top 3 biggest music festivals? I have a rough idea.
Music festivals
1,
in
2,
general,
3,
or country?
Country, country.
I would put Stagecoach at the top.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, not CMA Fest.
Well, it's hard to say, because in my mind, like CMA Fest, I don't know, for me it's more of an industry thing. But I guess, yeah, it is a festival. So maybe that would be the top.
All right.
Okay, all right. So we have CMA Fest, and then we'd have probably Stagecoach, and then like Windy City Smokeout.
Wow.
So,
you've had a big year. I mean,
you
played at all of those.
It's been really cool.
You've played at every single one of those.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
We just met, I guess, hold on. Well, this is a funny backstory. We have interacted, I guess, over the past year.
Right.
Kind of, I had a friend who was living close to you.
Right.
And apparently I was being loud and obnoxious. And
right.
you were filing complaints against your neighbor, who ended up being me.
Right.
And then we were in a meeting after that.
Yes.
And here we are sitting. So
yes.
Sorry about me being so loud and obnoxious. I was probably recording a podcast or something, you know.
Probably. It's funny. Now that I think about it, like I remember like seeing Nash there maybe once or twice.
Yeah.
So
he's a good boy.
He's a great boy.
Nice. I was laughing, trying to reflect over like the first couple times we hung out. The first was, I guess, technically me like causing disturbances.
Sure.
Second was, I think maybe we were at the gym and I was like, you know, being that guy with the shirt off or something like that. So not a great second impression. Then we did like a coffee tasting, super bougie.
Sure.
Probably not great either. So I'm started off kind of to a rough start, but hopefully we can recover from that.
You know what? It's fine. We're here on the podcast now.
Yeah.
We're here to redirect that.
That's right.
So,
so tell me about where you grew up and what your family's like.
So I grew up in South Louisiana in a town called Opelousas, which is right above Lafayette, and so I come from a big rodeo family, and my childhood was basically all rodeo all the time. And my parents are actually really wonderful. They built a business from the ground up. They sell boudin. Do you know what boudin is?
No, there's so many words that you just said that I either have no experience with or don't even know what they mean. So
That's great. That's awesome.
First of all, we say Lafayette in Indiana.
Oh, well, there is a Lafayette in Indiana, right?
But you guys say laugh.
But
I can't even say
that's
that
how
word.
you tell the difference, probably, if it's
And then your
Indiana.
town was Opelousas.
Opelousas.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
I don't even know how to begin to say that.
Most people screw it up. So
Louisiana is a different country. And then
it is.
boudin.
It's great.
What is boudin?
Boudin.
Yeah, boudin.
No.
What?
Boudin.
What? Boudin.
Say boudin.
And not and?
Like
Eh. Boudin.
Yes. Yes.
What is that?
So, it's basically pig. So it's pork, and I'm just gonna say that.
Oh.
And it's rice and bell peppers and onions and all kind of red pepper and Cajun seasoning in a casing, so sort of like sausage.
Huh.
But it's sort of like a rice dressing in a sausage casing. And it's Louisiana. I probably should have brought you some. I will bring you some eventually.
I thought I was going to wear a Kylie Frey shirt during this whole interview, too.
Oh, it's in my car.
Oh, it's too late now.
Okay.
That's too bad.
Okay.
So is this what makes country music stars, this diet of boudin?
Actually, no. It's actually really healthy for you not. But yeah, I have to stay away from it.
Okay.
I actually only like eat it every now and then when I go home. Like I grew up around it. Like my parents started the business when I was just a toddler. And they actually never intended to make boudin at all. So
I still don't know how you say
it's this funny thing that we just my family ended up doing and becoming really good at. So I don't eat a lot of it because I can't. Because the hips.
Oh.
But yeah, it's really great. And so my parents, I came from seeing them building something from nothing. And so my dad was a bronc rider.
Is this what you did, bronc riding?
No, so I tied goats and I roped calves.
Okay.
Yeah.
On a horse.
On a horse. So have you ever maybe seen calf roping?
I've seen barrel racing. Yeah, I actually have. It's like
Yes.
goes real quick.
Yes, real quick. So you're on a horse and you rope a calf. You step off. You flank the calf, and then you tie 3 legs, right?
I don't know.
So when you flank it,
Yeah.
essentially like you grab the front leg and then you grab a flank, which is this like it's a piece of skin.
I do that with Nash sometimes, my dog.
Yes.
Like pick him up by all the legs.
Yes.
And he hates it.
Do you tie him?
No.
That would just be mean.
No, yeah.
Nash doesn't deserve that.
Yeah, no, Nash does not like
He's a
getting
good
flanked.
boy. Anyway, so like the female version, so to say, of that would be that you just rope the calf in breakaway roping, and so the rope would pop off the saddle horn, and that's where your time stops. And so that's one event. And then, and then, so goat tying is the other end of that, where there's a goat staked on the end of the arena. And so you run down on a horse, and you hang off the horse as it's running.
Okay.
And
whoa, freaking sweet!
it's great. It's
you're
the
like
best
ripping it
feeling.
like this, like
Yeah, you're hanging on to the saddle horn. And
I want to do that one.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your
You're gonna
biceps
have to find
be
you
like
a big horse, though. You're a big guy.
Okay, wait. So you're
big
running
guy.
around the arena like this.
Yeah, so we're a straight line down the arena, and so you're hanging on. You got the reins in this hand, and you got the saddle horn, and you got your right leg down, and your left foot is in the stirrup, right? And so you're running down, and then you step off before you get to the goat, and then you run down the rope, and you flank the goat, and you tie 3 legs, and that's when your time stops.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you were pretty good at it. State champ.
Yeah, state champion goat tire. What up?
Congratulations.
Thank you.
We did not have rodeo in Indiana, so lettering in rodeo wasn't a thing.
I bet y'all had a little bit.
Sorry. Yes, we
Probably
did.
just
I'm
wasn't
sorry.
anywhere around you. It's really weird. Like there's certain
Regions
yes.
that have it,
Yeah.
and some that don't.
Yes.
I went to like a kind of inner city high school.
Okay.
So rodeo was not on the
Gotcha.
radar.
Gotcha.
But do you still rodeo?
So, I'll tie a goat every now and then. And I'll go, I help teach, sometimes. And, I actually wish I could rope more calves than I do. Like, I miss being on the back of a horse because that's where my mind is the most free. That's like, I feel like song ideas are just endless when I'm on the back of a horse.
I was about to say that's yeah.
Yeah.
That's a
so,
song in and of itself.
I do miss that a lot, and it's obviously a goal of mine to have the Reba Ranch one day and get to sort of do both.
I don't know what a Reba Ranch is.
So Reba has a
McIntyre.
big ranch, yeah.
She's known for this?
Yeah, so Reba actually got her start by singing the national anthem at the NFR, which is basically like the Super Bowl of rodeo.
Sweet.
So, yeah, my grandpa always told me that because that's sort of how I got started. That is how I got started in music. Because I have no music in my family. And so I was the first to just pick this up, right? I was really bad at it. And I don't know why, but I just always loved to sing. And my aunt asked me to sing the national anthem. They put on this rodeo every year at their house. They have a big arena. And she asked me to sing the national anthem. And I was like, yeah, I'll do it. And so I think I was about maybe 6 years old. And I sang the national anthem, and I was hooked. And so, like, when you're, like, 6 singing the anthem, like, it's really cute, right? And it doesn't matter if you're good or you're bad.
Right.
And then you, like, get older, and if you're still bad, it's like, not that great. So even my dad, like, you know, the one person in life that is supposed to be like, you're amazing at everything, was like, you should probably go practice that note right there.
Really?
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's fun because I don't think I'd be playing music at all if it wasn't for rodeo. So,
wow,
yeah.
what a kind of cool story. You fell in love with one and then kind of introduced you to the other.
Yeah.
So you weren't good at music for how long before?
Well, yeah. So I actually, fun fact, I had a lisp.
Okay.
And it wasn't a horrible lisp, but it was bad enough to like get in the way of my vocal range. And so I think my parents were like, okay, well, if we're going to have to listen to her sing all the time, maybe we should get her some lessons. And so I ended up working with a vocal coach who ended up sort of becoming like my songwriting mentor and whatnot.
Wow.
And so she discovered that I had this lisp, which I guess we knew, but it wasn't a big deal, right? And it was getting in the way of me being able to reach notes. And so I wore a tongue bar. Do you know what that is?
No.
So
What?
not a lot of people do. I wouldn't if I didn't have to wear one. So it's I guess it's essentially like a retainer. So it wraps around your molars in the back. And then it's a wire that runs on the inside of your palate. And then it zigzags like right behind your front teeth.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And it creates a fence so your tongue can't thrust beyond that
Really?
point. Yeah.
Huh.
It gets pretty gnarly. Like people will put spikes on them and stuff like that.
If they have a bad lisp?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Mine wasn't bad enough to have spikes. So
Oh my gosh.
it would like regardless it will like make your tongue a little raw. So I wore that for about a year in like the 8th grade. And it was like around the time where everyone was like going through puberty and like
Tough time.
making out with boys and stuff. And I'm like, how's another tongue supposed to fit in here? And so it was just really weird. And I would spit on people all the time because I couldn't control it. So that was fun.
Are you talking about when you were making out with people? 'Cause
No,
we don't
no,
need
no.
to
I
know
just
all these
gleek.
Yes.
Yes.
You know gleeking?
Yes.
Is gleeking something that everybody knows?
Yeah,
My brother
it's a
used to
thing.
gleek on me all the time. It's gross. I still don't know
It
how
is
to do
gross. It is gross.
I don't know how to do it, but anyway.
I can't make myself do it, but like, cause it's a tongue thing.
Wow.
And so I guess like when my tongue would hit that fence, and then it would just shoot him in the eye,
man.
you know?
Oh, gosh. So you got the lisp fixed, though.
So, yes, we corrected the lisp, and I just sort of grew from there. Got better at the whole anthem singing. And I think around like 13 or 14, I learned how to play guitar. And it just sort of took off from there.
Can I ask you a vague question?
Tell me, yeah.
What makes you love music so much that you would wear a tongue bar during such a tough time?
So that's a really great question. At that point, I don't think I had I obviously didn't know that I was going to be doing this. Like, I thought that I would be Miss Rodeo America one day, and, for sure college rodeo. And then after that, who knew? But that's what I thought that I was going to do. And so singing was just like something that I did. And I don't know why I wore the tongue bar.
You were committed.
I guess I was. Yeah.
When did rodeo start taking a back seat?
Oh, that's a very good question. So I'm not the most athletic person, as you probably know, after working out a couple times with me. So it's true. So I still loved it, and I worked really hard at it. And so I always say that anything that I've ever done, I've never really been naturally talented at it. I've just worked harder than everyone. Probably the same with music. And so with rodeo, my freshman year, I missed out going to nationals, so they take the top 4 in the state to nationals, right? And so I ended up 5th by 1 point.
Stop.
Mm-hmm. But my sister ended up in the 4th hole. My sister's 2 years older than me.
Your sister was a 4th slot?
She's the 4th slot.
Oh, the drama.
Yeah, I know. But I actually ended up winning the title for my state. I was the rodeo queen that year. So, yeah. So I ended up, and I didn't expect to win that. I wasn't trying to win it. I was like, let me just get my feet wet, and then next year I'm going to go for it. But I ended up winning. So I went to nationals anyway. My sister made it in that 4th hole, and so we were going anyway.
Okay.
So it was good. But ending up in that 5th slot the next year, I was like, that saddle is mine. So when you win state,
you get a saddle.
You get a saddle.
Sweet
Yeah.
trophy.
Yeah. So I did my queening, and I reigned as our queen, which was awesome and really great. But that next year, I was outside tying a goat at least 5 days a week. I was so committed. I could see it in my head. And I was just consistent all year. I think I maybe won one rodeo out of 24.
That year?
Yes. And so, but I placed at every single one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And so by the time that I ended up going into state, I was 20 points ahead of everyone else, which is a big gap for me, for anyone at that time. And so I went into state, and I ended up beating out my sister and all her senior friends.
Wow.
And I won state that year. And so the next year is when I went to Pensacola. I went to Pensacola with this vocal coach that I was talking about, and we went to the Songwriters Festival. And it was just kind of one of those things where it's just like, oh, like, this looks fun. Like, I need a vacation. Like, I'm going to take a couple of my students. And it was right after nationals, and it was right in between when we got back, and I was going to go back to high school, for the year. And I sat in this little bar in Pensacola, Florida, and I listened to these 3 ladies sing their songs, and it was this little Italian restaurant. It was like the coolest setting. It was low lighting, and I cried and I laughed, and I just had that life, that redirection, I guess, where it was like, this is what I want to do. I want to make someone feel something that I just felt, and I felt like I had hit the pinnacle of what I could do as far as rodeo is concerned.
Wow.
And so, because I wasn't that talented at it, so my heart just kind of switched directions on me.
Wow.
And so I did rodeo my junior year. I think I got second in state that year. And then my senior year, I was just so ate up with music that it really took a back seat. Rodeo did. And I regret that a little bit. Like, I wish I would have pushed myself more and went to nationals and whatnot. But also at the same time, I was I felt like I had to make up for lost time in the music business, because like I knew people that were my age and already in Nashville and doing this. And so, yeah, it's kind of cool how one thing led into the other like that, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So what do you do with that? Do you move to Nashville right after you graduate?
I did not. So I was supposed to come to MTSU, and I was signed up, ready to go. I hadn't paid for anything yet, but I was so ready to get out of South Louisiana, and something inside of me was just like, it's not your time, and which was difficult. So I ended up not going, and I stayed back and did 1 semester of community college. Also, I was like playing 3 and 4 nights a week, making cash money in these dive bars. It was so great and so much fun. And but with that, I mean, I was singing, 3 or 4 hours a night, and then if someone would throw $100 in the tip jar, like I'd go an extra hour, like,
wow.
So and I had a guitar player with me, and he would sing a little bit, but it was mainly all on me, which I didn't mind at all. But from that, I ended up developing a polyp on my vocal cord.
Oh my God.
Really early. Yeah.
You're like the 3rd person I've heard about this from this week. It's like
wait, really?
Yeah, it's like the worst.
It's so scary.
It's a little like, so your vocal cords are, I mean, you describe it.
No, you go ahead. Yeah.
It's you literally have almost tendons are your vocal cords. It looks like little white tendons, and there's like just a cyst that kind of develops, and it blocks the way they function and prevents them from working correctly.
Yeah. So essentially it would be like, we all have like calluses, and so, like you would probably have calluses from like working out and stuff. I have them on my fingers from playing guitar. So it's essentially sort of this callus that forms on your vocal cords when you're overusing them.
Gosh.
It's your body's way of trying to protect itself, you know. And it's a really tough thing.
My buddy went on voice rest for 1 month. Didn't talk. Had to wear a pin.
Oh, didn't talk?
Said I'm on voice rest.
No.
That's what you do. Go to the grocery. I can't talk. I'm on
no.
voice rest. It's crazy.
See, I went on a 6-month voice. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yes.
You wore the pin and everything?
I talked. I just didn't sing.
Gotcha.
I tried to talk, as like little as possible.
Right. Yeah.
But it was so funny because like I was like went from like being in a bar like pretty much like 4 or 5 nights a week, right, to just like you need to rest, you need to take naps during the day, like minimal drinking, all of that stuff. And so it was like the beginning of that semester of college, and so I was working at my aunt's Western store and going to college, and I think that was like my first gym membership that I've ever had. And so I had a friend that worked out there, and she just sort of like told me what to do. And so I kind of had like freshman minus 15 because I was so miserable and like not partying or anything. And so had that 6-month hiatus from writing songs and whatnot. And so it just sort of like made me take a step back and just look at things differently. And it's like, okay, I've, for, a girl right out of high school, with all this like cash coming in, like I thought I was doing really well. Right. And then it's just like, okay, well, I want more than this. I want to get out of my hometown. I want to do more, and I don't want to get stuck here with a polyp or a nodule on my vocal cord and whatnot, So I'm going to really take care of myself and get better, and then just sort of reevaluate from there, right? And so I was finishing up the semester of college, and I was on the back end of this hiatus, and I remember I was in the living room, and I think my mom was out playing Pekino or something. She wasn't home, but it was me and my dad, and I was like sitting on the recliner. Pekino? Do you know
what is going on? We live in two different worlds, Kylie. What? I'm shook. I heard that. I was like, I can't talk to you. What?
Is that not a thing
up
plant? Here? No. So
what?
It's like, I think it's a card game. I don't know. I've never actually played it. But so like my mom and like her girlfriends like would get together and like once a month and
sure, okay.
and like play this game. It's called Pekino.
Okay.
Or so yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's
Funny.
that.
I'm glad you. Okay.
I'm sorry. I think everyone just knows these things, and it's probably
it's
just a South Louisiana thing, as most things are. But so yeah, it was just me and my dad home, and I was on the recliner, like studying these flashcards, right? And by the way, like I had no idea what I wanted a degree in, because what I wanted to do, there was no degree for it, Mm-hmm. So it was just like sort of a general studies thing. And so I was, looking at my flashcards, and my dad was on the couch, and we were watching Miranda Lambert's backstory. Mm-hmm. And I guess about halfway through this episode that we were watching, he just paused the TV, and he was like, hey, why don't you just quit college? And I was like, what?
Your dad?
My dad, yeah.
Wow.
And I was like, why? And he's like, I have never seen you more miserable in my life. And I would rather see you be happy and do what you love. He's like, you're about to be able to sing again. You know how to do it the right way this time. And you've got a window of opportunity as a female country singer, right? And you can always go back to college. He's like, I went back to college at 26. And he was the first one to get a degree in his family, And so he's like, I raised you to be the person, like, if you want to do something, you're going to do it. And he's like, so why don't you just do it? And I'm like, okay, well, are you going to tell mom that, or am I? And so eventually she got on board, and I recorded an EP in my garage. And I had no idea what I was doing. I just knew I had these like 10 songs, right? And so we ended up doing like 7 of them. And I had this project, and I knew of like the Texas music scene because of Rodeo and essentially being there almost every weekend. So we ended up going to Texas with it, and I had a number 1 song in Texas off of that EP that I recorded in my garage. Jeez. So
that was the one with Randy Rogers?
No, so it was
Ain't Enough Beer?
No, it was actually a song before that. It's called Rodeo, man.
Okay.
Yes.
Sorry,
No, you're good. You're good. So
Ain't Enough Beer.
Yeah, you got it. Yes.
It's a good song.
Yes.
You were like 14 when you wrote that song, probably.
No,
okay,
so
sorry. All right.
That song, I'll get to it.
Okay, we'll get there.
We'll get there. Okay. So
number 1 song
in Texas, which is really great. And I'd started traveling to Nashville back and forth during that time, and so I started writing songs with people here and just getting to meet different people in the industry, right? And so essentially I met my producer now, who's Paul Worley. He's produced the Dixie Chicks and Lady Antebellum and lots
Solid
of
track record.
really huge acts. Yeah, Grammy award winning guy, which is awesome. So I met him and he was like, if you want to play with the big dogs, you got to be in the ballpark. So I moved here.
Is that what he said
That's
verbatim?
exactly what he said.
If you want to play with the big dogs, you got to be in the ballpark.
It's exactly what he said. Yes.
That's awesome.
Word for word.
I mean,
yes.
wow, that's
Yeah.
going to go in your autobiography.
Oh,
man.
absolutely. Absolutely. He also had, I had this made too. He had a plaque. I'll never forget the first time I walked in his office and I saw the Grammys. I'm a huge Dixie Chicks fan.
Okay.
Huge.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
And so, I walk in, I see all these Grammys and he has this plaque like right next to them. And it's this quote and it's like from the Dixie Chicks, and it says, if you suck the lollipop of mediocrity, if you lick the lollipop of mediocrity, you suck forever.
Whoa.
Yeah. And I just read that and like next to all of these Grammys, and I was like, wow. And so actually I had that quote put on a canvas, and it's hanging up in my apartment. But so anyway.
That's great.
So I met Paul and I moved up here. And we essentially started recording, and that's when we got that duet with Randy Rogers and recorded Enough Beer all in one day. So
One day?
Yeah. Yeah.
Those are like your top 2 songs, right?
Yes.
That's a big day.
It was a good day. Yeah. It took me a while to release the second song from that. The TV show was a big part of that. I had sort of went through a lot of changes in my career and whatnot. And so we put out the song with Randy, which was amazing. And Randy Rogers is so awesome and has given me so much like incredible advice. One of which is just to like focus on songwriting.
Support for today's episode comes from Skillshare, which is an online learning community for creators. With more than 25,000 classes in design, business, and more, you'll discover countless ways to fuel your curiosity, creativity, and career. Take classes in social media marketing, mobile photography, creative writing, or even illustration. Whether you're looking to discover a new passion, start a side hustle, or gain new professional skills, Skillshare is there to keep you learning and thriving. Join the millions of students already learning on Skillshare today with a special offer just for my listeners. Get 2 months of Skillshare for free. That's right, Skillshare is offering redirected listeners 2 months of unlimited access to over 25,000 classes for free. To sign up, go to Skillshare.com/East. Again, go to Skillshare.com/East to start your 2 months now. That's Skillshare.com/East. Because that's kind of like from a business perspective, kind of the more sustainable. If you write a hit song,
Yeah.
it's almost a more sure thing. I know nothing about the music industry, but like being a breakout artist is like striking gold, whereas like writing just kind of
Yes.
solid songs.
And also, like, as far as like an artist is concerned, I feel like there's just a certain level of respect, like when you establish yourself as a songwriter, and then go into your artistry, which is really cool.
Like Taylor Swift for
ish.
Okay.
Sort of more like Casey Musgraves.
Okay, great. I love her.
Yes,
Jeez.
so she had hits with Miranda and like big cuts before she even came out with that first major label record.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically I sat on my butt and wrote songs for 2 years. And just going through some, bad business stuff and sort of had a bad taste in my mouth. And so I just kind of sunk my heels in the sand and was like, I'm just going to write songs and ride these couple of things out and get better with my craft of writing songs. Because those first couple of songs I did not write because I moved here with the mentality of the best song wins. And so whether it's my song or not. And so, I I just wrote songs for a couple of years, and we tried to record a little bit of music, and hadn't put anything out from that. And then I got a call for this TV show, which was real country, and ended up on that. Team Shania Twain, what up?
Yeah, didn't you get like a personal call from Shania herself?
So I got a letter from her, which was really awesome. I dressed up as Shania Twain for career day in kindergarten.
Oh gosh, nice.
Yeah, career day.
I was Vasco da Gama. Do you know?
No, I don't.
He's the guy that created the spice trade between Portugal and India, but.
That's amazing. What?
Anyway, Shania
You're a
Twain.
nerd. That's awesome.
Shania Twain's a little better, but go ahead. So you dressed up.
I dressed up for as her for career day in kindergarten. So it was really awesome to be on the first season of her show on her team and whatnot. It was just a big full circle moment.
So it's Shania Twain, Jake Owen,
and Travis Tritt.
Travis Tritt.
Yes.
What's his song where he does the dog woofing?
The what?
He has a song. Oh, geez, shoot. Travis Tritt.
What did you say? The what?
He
the
like
what
howls
woofing?
in one of his songs. Travis Tritt. You know what I'm talking about?
What did you call it?
Woofing.
I've never heard that.
What's the name of the song? What is that song?
I know.
It's a great song.
I can hear the melody in my head right now.
It's something like "Great Day to Be Alive."
Yes.
There we go. Well, tell me this before we talk about the effect the show had on your career. Starting off from like zero in your music career.
Yeah.
What is in an ideal world, the perfect trajectory for a musician, if that exists? Like,
I don't think it does.
Okay, so like you literally just start playing and then hopefully catch a break at some point.
Well, it's so funny because like that's what's so amazing about this business, but also equally frustrating, is because like there's no textbook way to do it.
Right.
And everyone has their own path, and the music business is constantly evolving. And so like the trend right now is to put out, the single and like 2 other versions and whatnot. And so, but like tomorrow it's going to be something totally different. So it's just keeping up with sort of what's going on. But in my mind, like my goal is to just stay true to myself and not try to chase the trends too much. Obviously you have to keep up with the times, but I think authenticity sticks out in the end way more than trying to mold yourself into something that already exists. But
it's difficult because like
difficult.
In my career,
yes,
the end goal is very, very clear of like, hey, you do X, Y, and Z.
Right.
You play in high school and you get recruited to D1 and then you go to the draft and then you go to the NFL.
Yeah.
And you make that stick as long as possible.
Yeah.
There's no like structure really to the music business like that.
Right. I'm jealous of your
Yeah. I think
this is X, Y, and Z. Yeah. And I could be completely wrong. Maybe you get somebody else in here that's like, oh no, well, like they should just do this. But from my experience, everyone has their own journey with this, which is what makes it so cool.
Right.
But it actually, like this weekend, like, so we have our motorhome that we grew up rodeoing in. We've had it for about 15 years. And so my parents just kept it, obviously, because I was going to be traveling the rest of my life, and which I love. And so I was driving our motorhome down, up the road, and I could start to see, like, the pieces of it. Because obviously, like, I see the end goal and I see the vision, like I see the big arenas, I see the Grammys, I see all of that. But it's a little bit harder for me to put those smaller pieces together because there is no right or wrong way to do it. And I always knew that like my path would be a little bit unconventional, which is fine with me. But with that, it's like, how do we go about this? So I'm finally getting all of those moving parts together. And my booking agency that I actually, we shook hands right before the show. which is really great. And I've found a company that totally believes in me and what I'm doing and wants to build me through my live show.
Shook hands has been like you signed the contract.
No, we didn't sign a contract.
You just shook hands.
We shook hands.
No, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Old school. Yeah.
The way you speak is hilarious. But
How?
no, just like, I don't know. I can't.
Anyway.
Okay, so you go on Real Country.
Yes.
And that was a huge boost to your
Yeah,
career, right?
yeah, absolutely. So I shook hands with the booking agent like right before the show, right? And so I didn't have management at that point. I had talked to my management before and everything, but I wasn't ready to make that commitment because it's a big commitment, and
Yeah.
I went down that road and had not been successful. So, yeah, I had just come from writing songs for a couple of years to, hey, come be on the show.
Wow.
And so I actually didn't take it seriously at first because I'm like, I have no interest on being on a show. Like, I don't want to sign my life away, all of this stuff. And so I went to the audition just like as practice. Because like my motto being here has always been show up, you know, and because the times that I least expect things to happen is when they do. So I showed up and I did the audition and whatnot, and I ended up getting on this show. And it was really amazing in the sense of like all of the artists on the show were already artists and already like building a career for themselves. And so we all just became friends and like bonded over what we're all doing instead of like making it a competition. So like, sure, it would have been awesome to win the $100,000, but
Right.
you know, like the friendships that I made and the experience that I got off of that show was just incredible. And so, coming off of that show, it's just everything that I had, in the works, just made it all make sense. And it made it make sense to release a song that I recorded 2 years prior, you know? So yeah, I'm really thankful for the show.
And that you did so well on that show that it opened up the opportunity to go to Stagecoach.
It did, yes. Yeah.
Do you just parlay these opportunities of like, hey, Kylie played at Stagecoach, so you're pitching Windy City country music, and so like just like door after door.
It just builds it like it's a resume builder.
Right.
So Stagecoach was huge. Like to see that on a bio, it's like, oh wow, because obviously like it's a really big thing in country music. So I'm sorry.
Some would say the biggest music festival.
Right.
Others would say
CMA Fest. Right.
But it's really giving you like kind of nationwide acclaim.
Right.
I told you this. There's a couple guys in the Redskins who are like,
I love that.
from Louisiana. They're like Kylie Frey.
I love that.
She's the real deal.
Yes.
So
that's great.
I'm sure you've heard this, but you were talking about how you spent night after night in a bar playing music. You had to learn how to play guitar. Was guitar like not your?
No, it was not.
Yeah.
No.
But how valuable that you were forced to be in that position. Just like the Beatles.
Right.
Have you heard this? The Beatles went to Hamburg and had to play. They played like 8 hours a day.
Oh.
The 10,000 hour rule. Like,
wow.
This is
yes.
Yeah.
10,000
So
hours.
they were like they spent, I don't know, 2 years in Hamburg playing like 8 hours a day.
Wow.
And they say that was the formative time where the Beatles really became the Beatles.
Absolutely.
Kind of sounds like a similar.
Those are big shoes to
stand
next to,
the,
you know.
The theory of like you're forced to play in unideal situations to develop your skills. And
yeah, absolutely.
A lot of people don't make it through that phase because they're like, I don't want to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Sure.
That's
yeah.
not fun.
And you know what? I'm still like, I still have to go play, in situations where, no one knows my name, and I have to weave my original songs through some covers to get people going and to get them interested and whatnot. And sometimes they're not ideal situations, but those are the ones that I feel like I grow the most from.
Yeah.
Because if I can capture an audience that is not there to listen to me, imagine what I could do with an audience that I have in the palm of my hand from the beginning.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I respect the humility of like, you have to still do some things, even though you've taken you've jumped a huge hurdle in your career. It's like, I'm still not where I want to be. And some people are arrogant. They're like, oh, I'm too good for that now. But you're like, I'm going to still grind it out and make this happen.
Yeah, you have to.
That's a super important mentality. So hats off to you.
Thank you.
It's also interesting to me. I've heard so many nightmare stories about the music industry and the business, like you mentioning some tough business deals with that.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's because it is so convoluted. There's such a lack of structure. Like the NFL, we have agents as players, but they're kind of constrained by laws of the broader like NFL.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's no.
That's so interesting that you say that, because that makes so much sense. Like
it's like the Wild West.
It is.
It's like, oh, hey, all of a sudden, Andrew East is a music manager.
Right. Exactly. You could
I have
be.
no credit, and I don't know what I'm doing, and I could screw you over.
Yeah.
So that's kind of dirty.
But there are so many horror stories. I mean, I could go on about some of my experiences and my friends and whatnot, but when you get past that, like, there are some really wonderful people, and I've been really fortunate to encounter them. And I like probably the most valuable thing that I can say that I've learned so far is that you know, it's really important to work with people that you genuinely like and respect. And
true in all industries.
I mean, because it's really easy to chase, like, oh, this person's hot right now, so like I need to be working with them. And sure, it's like that's great that they're successful, and maybe that is the person for you. But this guy over here who's really passionate about you, who may not have as much going on, but he's going to work his butt off for you. Typically, that's the guy that's going to get you to the top, you know? Yeah. So, I mean, it's easy to be, like, blinded by what someone else has is going on, but I think the best way I've heard it put is that you can't really catch someone else's magic. Like, what they have going on is, and the people that they have success with, like, there's a reason why that group of people has success, because they have chemistry together, and it doesn't mean that you're going to jump into what they're doing and automatically be successful. Right. You know, you have to create your own magic.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Nice.
So.
I like that.
Easier said than done.
Yeah.
But. Yeah.
Gotcha. That is one frustration that I have with other people is, like, well, first of all, so insightful that you can't just, oh, this person's hot, so I'm going to jump ship on this person that's been working for me for a year to try to, like,
bite you in the butt. Yeah.
Yeah, it just doesn't work like that. And I just ran a marathon, so this is the most readily available analogy. But, like, there is, I feel like, sprint mode and marathon mode. And marathon mode kind of prepares you for that time where it's like, hey, I'm finally well enough conditioned that I can freaking hit it hard.
Right.
But don't just view this last part of me like really getting after it without seeing the whole picture of this training that I've been going through. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's like people always want that.
Oh, I love that you said that's a great analogy. High five.
Wow.
That's great.
Thank you.
Wow. I'm enlightened.
We've been giving knucks all day and then we get a high five.
I love that.
Because there is
it's so accurate.
Yeah, it's like you gotta.
Yeah. You gotta. Because you hear all the time in the music industry, like, oh, overnight success, and it's like, yeah, overnight in 10 years, you know. So that's just sort of the running joke, but it's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a marathon.
Okay. What goals do you have now with your career?
Long term or short term?
Tell me long term.
Long term? I mean, long term would be the stadiums, Grammys. I don't know why Grammys are just such a big thing for me. I just think that just being up next to all genres and being able to stand out, not only in the lane that you're in, but overall, is really big. So, yeah.
And that's in Texas country specifically?
Not necessarily. It's, I mean, the bigger picture, you know.
Okay.
But what's really cool is that I sort of fell into this fan base that is Texas country music, and it is so awesome and amazing and wonderful. Casey Musgraves came from it, Miranda Lambert came from it, and Eli Young Band, and
The type of people that eat boudin.
Boudin, yes. Boudin loving people.
I still
That's
know how to say
right.
that word,
Yes. Yes, and there's just good down-home people that love and respect country music and will go and listen to someone like me who maybe they haven't heard of in a bar with just me and an acoustic guitar and fall in love with the songs and the storytelling and the artistry. And it's just really loyal fans and really a great thing going down there. And so I love my Texas. I love the bass. I am a Louisiana girl. Everyone thinks I'm from Texas. But, yeah, I want to just stay loyal to that fan base, but also expand in a way that allows me to sound like what I want to sound like and be the best version of me, you know, as far as an artist or songwriter.
Be the best version of you.
Yeah.
We need a painting in the house with that.
Right,
I like
right.
that.
Because so I grew up on Shania Twain, right?
Yeah.
And so big idol of mine. And I grew up in like sort of before social media. So all that I saw of like my idols, right, was like the magazine covers and the music videos and like the big album covers and whatnot. And it was just this larger than life human that I saw, right? And I always, like, starting out, I always thought that I had to be that, and I had to, like, you know, just be all dialed up all the time and my hair blowing in the wind and like it was to the point where it was like maybe something that I'm not, you know, and somewhere along the way it was like, oh, I don't have to be the next Shania Twain. I can be the first Kylie Frey.
It really takes time to like get to that point of realization that like, oh, I just gotta.
Did you have to go through that?
Oh, with football, yeah. It took me 5 years.
Wow.
Until I was 26 to get to that point of like, oh, I actually have my own unique talents.
Yes.
That I need to focus on instead of trying to fit in this box.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's any shortcut to that point. I think you actually have to go through that mimic phase and then.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I wish there was, but what steps does a musician who has the similar goals of you as you, is playing in the stadiums, the Grammys,
right?
What do you do on a daily basis to make that happen? Like, what do you have to do as a musician?
Oh, it's different every day, but I try to write at least like once a day, whether it's just something in my head or writing a full song. When I'm really going hard writing songs, I'll write like maybe 5 songs a week.
Crazy.
So
I feel like you're always writing every time we've talked.
I am. And it's funny because a lot of times, like, I co-write a lot. And so like it's the reason why I moved to this town, because I essentially made this town my college to learn from, you know, the best songwriters in the industry, right? And so a lot of time, like, someone said this to me and it like really shook up my world, but then it made sense. Like 99% of the time, like, you step into a room like to co-write, it's just practice.
Wow.
Which is like, really, what am I doing? You know? But you
don't know when it's practice and
you
when
don't
it's not.
know, because like the chances of like you getting 3 people in a room that are 100% that day are very slim to none. And with an idea that just falls in your lap. But when you do get that, it's the best feeling in the world, and it's absolute magic.
Wow.
And those songs will literally keep me up for nights, just like dreaming about them.
That's so much fun.
Yeah. But going back to what you said, writing songs constantly, working on vocal runs and stuff like that, like trying to constantly evolve like my voice, really trying to hone in like on the guitar, and artists now have to be entrepreneurs, so because we have to build a brand and have a label buy-in now instead of the label coming in from the ground floor and building you up,
Right.
Which is good and bad. But I'm running a lot of my business on my own. I'm very thankful to have amazing managers, and they handle a lot of the big stuff. But like, you know, I was just driving the bus last night and cutting the checks when everyone got off, and so all of the little things that go into it. I just try to outwork everyone. So
Wow.
yeah.
That's what you did in Rodeo. That's what you're doing in
That's right.
country music.
That's right.
Okay, so what are 3 lessons that you've learned over your career so far,
Okay.
rodeo music, that can apply to a broader audience?
Okay. Show up.
I love that. That's like mine.
Yeah.
Don't be intimidated. Don't be scared. Don't feel like you're less. Just show up and see what happens.
Exactly. It's really easy to let fear sort of take over in that sense. And intimidation is a really good word to use because it's really easy to get intimidated by other people that are doing what you're doing, and maybe you think they're better or whatnot, but really we're all just trying to be the best versions of ourselves. And so, but it is intimidating.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's hard to show up, but when you do, it's really rewarding and whatnot. And so, show up and work your butt off, because everyone's got their own talents, you know. But I mean, if you weren't up today at 6 a.m. in front of this camera, you know, like, how would anyone know your talents?
I didn't make you come
With
at 6.
this.
It's later than 6 right
No,
now.
you text me at 6, so I know that you get up and you work your butt off. So, and then be humble and work with people that in your gut you know are in it for you. Obviously, everyone wants to succeed together, but I think you know in your gut and in your heart who's there for the right reasons. At least I do. Sometimes I go against it, and every time I go against it, I regret it, you know. But follow your gut instincts and have fun.
Show up, work hard, be humble.
Sure, yeah, those.
I think if I was going to say 3, those would probably be mine. Honestly,
Really?
because I feel like showing up is probably 75% of the battle.
Absolutely.
Working hard is the remaining, you have to work hard if you're going to show up. But nobody wants you to show up unless you're humble. Like, you don't want to be the guy that nobody wants around.
Yes,
so, I like those a lot, Kylie.
Yay, thank you.
Thank you for waking up early at 6 a.m. and hanging out with me this morning. I really enjoyed our combo.
Thank you for having me.
I learned so much. Boudin.
Boudin. You're going to have some. I'm going to make you try it.
I got to figure out how to say it. I don't care if you don't eat pork. Spell it for me.
Do you eat pork?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Boudin.
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 Yeah.
Billy's Boudin.
You're saying it wrong.
What up?
That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see what's next for you.
Thank you. Me too.
2018 and so far 2019 has been huge for you.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's just up and up for you. So.
Yeah, 1920, we've got some cool stuff in the works. I'm really excited. So.
I have to end on one last. Where did Kylie French Frey is your?
So no one can get my name right. So it's pronounced Fry, obviously, but everyone says Frey.
Whoa.
And
that's genius.
So
French Frey.
and I am French, so it's I'm Kylie French Frey.
Gotcha.
I sort of just got tired of people saying Frey.
What a great way to attack that problem.
And so I'm like, everyone remembers Kylie French Frey.
Yeah. Check her out, guys.
And who doesn't love French fries?
Can't wait for what's next for you.
Thank you.